Hi everyone. The date is it's December 11th, 2024, early in the morning. My heart won't rest. My mind doesn't rest. Spirit's calling me to do a video, a download, if you will, a message from the heavens about suicide. And so here I am. My heart is feeling every single broken heart right now. Every heart that has been broken due to someone valuable in their lives that have taken their own lives. It is labeled as suicide. Thank you, Spirit, for being with me, because this is my higher self up there. Although it could be yours, because one higher self is just like another. Suicide. Go ahead, Spirit. I'm going to let Spirit do this. Here, Spirit. I am amending for all the wrongs, the injustice done within your minds as to what suicide means for our souls, our spirits, when we do leave our bodies. For this, I condemn those who find value in telling such untruths as to where our spirits go when we choose to pass through, meaning leave our bodies, to return to where we came from. I don't think I know one person that's taken their lives, guys. I think my daughter knew. She's passed too. I think my daughter knew one. Many, I know that many are accused of it, such as Kurt Cobain, Chris Cornell, Sister Bennington. They're labeled as them taking their own lives, yet they didn't. However, there are some that do. Robin Williams is another one. He's not guilty of taking his own life. Only in the tabloids, right, guys? I did a report once in college. It was the final. Our final was an instructional, which we would have to make a report, an oral report, before the whole class. And my instructor instructed that keep in mind when you choose a substance that you are appealing to, you will be presenting to a 9th grade class. Well, I thought about that very seriously, because I've had 9th graders in my home as my children. Anyway, my report was on spice. And as I sat there at the computer going, oh my God, what am I going to do? I don't know anything about it. I don't know, my golden fingertips. I went to obituaries on spice. And that was my report right there. There were so many suicides. In Texas alone, in 1 week, there was like 125 people that had smoked spice, which is an artificial marijuana that's bought in the smoke shops. It's labeled as incense only, but we all gather they know why they're selling it. Anyway, 60% of the people that smoke spice for their first time either killed themselves or someone else. And we're talking from a 14-year-old who hangs himself or shoots himself. There was many of those. To the psychologist himself who at 56 years old at his desk shot himself. We have a 23-year-old that strangled his own 2-month-old baby and then shot himself. These are suicides. These are suicides. Drug-induced suicides. Either way, let's talk about it. Spirit wants me to talk to you about this because at any point on the drugs that I'm talking about, the spice, these victims, in their minds, there was no other escape. There was no other way for that spirit within their bodies to survive other than to take themselves out of it. It is not about the ending of a life. It is about the survival of a spirit. Right? Spirit saying bravo. Anyways, before I allow Spirit to come back, I have 2 sons. Well, sorry about that. Three months ago, my oldest son passed away. However, I lost him when he was almost 18, when he smoked spice. He's not one that took his own life, nor did he take another's life, but he lost his mind. My son became paranoid schizophrenic overnight. He was beautiful. Not real crazy about his academics, but a beautiful person, inside and out. He did a lot of he lived in the Bay Area with his father, and he did a lot of skateboarding. He was sought. He was actually scouted. He was found by some scouts that for the same management of Tony Hawk, and they saw my son and they wanted him to sign. And they met with my son's dad about it, and being that he hadn't done too well in school that year, his dad told him, if you get your grades up and stay out of trouble when you're 18, you can sign. I'll let you sign. Which is kind of an oxymoron, because when you're 18 you can do whatever you want. It was the fact that he was underage when the offer was given. Anyways, and before the year was up, my son and his friends smoked spice. That was the end of my son. My son went paranoid schizophrenic. Didn't know who his mom was. Was angry at me because I claimed to be his mom. Made it so, he was so violent. It made it impossible for me to spend any real time with my son anymore. Anyway, where are we going with that? Let's start over. Let me let Spirit come in, okay, guys? I'm going to take a break real quick. Okay, back. I almost lost my footing there, guys. Sorry. As you get to know me, if you don't already know me, know that I have losses. I have experienced probably more loss than most in my first 30 years of life. The hard ones are my kids. They're my kids. And so far I've lost 2, and I've got 1 left. He's my youngest, and he's 22. I don't know where he is. He's also paranoid schizophrenic. Drug-induced. He was raised with his father and began using, I'm not sure when, but he's not well. He's not well enough for me to be around at all. And being that I'm a single woman, I'm not married, I don't have the masculine to protect me and keep my son in line if there was to be issues during a visit. So very sad, very hard to arrive at the decision that I'm not safe if I'm around him. Anyway, so now you know a little more about me. Spirit, please talk to all of those parents, siblings, friends, co-work, you name it. Suicide touches many lives. And the stigma that's on suicide, it is a learned behavior for our mind to automatically assume that we will go to, what is that, red pit of fire in the earth, the double hockey sticks. We'll go to hell. Our spirits will go to, what do they call that, where you're in the middle? Gosh, I can't think of that word, but you know what it doesn't even matter, because that's not what happens. The reason why I know this doesn't happen is because I have telepathy ability to communicate with those that have passed on. And when I say those, I'm talking about every spirit that's ever been in a body, and where they go and where they reside. If they have not reincarnated or incarnated again and come down to live in another body in another lifetime, they're in the higher realms as spirit. Either way, I can connect with them. This is how I know. And I know the heartbreak of losing a child. My daughter was tragically killed 5 weeks shy of her 18th birthday and 3 weeks shy of dental school. Graduated early with honors. What a beautiful child she was. Tragically struck by a car and lost her life. Tragically. I love you guys. I love every parent and every sibling and every friend. Every someone who's lost someone to any death at all. My heart is with you. I know the pain. We all know the pain. And although I don't know the pain of suicide, because I don't know one person, I don't, that has taken their life. But that is so beside the point. You lost somebody you loved. The pain of that alone. I love you for that. I get you for that. And you are one up on me for that. Because I don't know what that's like. And go ahead, Spirit. Spirit's wanting to... Andrea, we value our lives. Our lives, our children. Our value. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I keep hearing the word soldiers and it doesn't fit. So, once again, I am going to set the intention that the Spirit deliver to you what this video was intended to do. It looks like I have something black on my nose. Sorry, guys. Go ahead. Andrea, for those that have lost somebody, to the title of suicide, they're demeaning as to their own mourning, their own selves, their ability to mourn fully and grieve is stricken from them by the title of suicide. As if the option for us as spirits to stay in body or not would make the difference to such a soul still living. We come here fully aware, fully in our bodies we cherish. They are our Christ. We all know upon entering our Christs, that we will sacrifice that Christ one day. For our knowing, it cannot live as long as we can, our spirits. Andrea, go for it, cry. Well, I will, thank you. Andrea, you cry for all of the tears spent, wasted, on the blackness, on the black, go ahead, on the dark sorrow beheld or bestowed upon those mourning someone who has chosen to end their life, to sacrifice their Christ early, and Spirit saying early, as if maybe it wasn't early, maybe it was right on time. Finish that though. Andrea, we are coming to a point of resurrection. For this, we will assume timing, the allowance of time, and not hurrying through for the ending of the video. Okay. God, you guys, I suck, and I'm sorry. I'm so interruptive, and I'm so doubtful, and I'm so managing in my mind, when what I know the most, what I do best, is love and understand the pain of another soul. I know loss, and so this is where I come back as a restitution for you guys. Andrea, here, Spirit. Andrea, you've lost a soul to suicide. Only you. You are not aware of it. For their death was ruled something else. Okay. I believe that. Andrea, your suicide journey yourself has been one of ejection and rejection, he says. And that is, I tried to cut my wrist open when I was a teen, and it didn't work. That would be the injection and rejection. Under your fellowship, your tribe, those seeking for answers and knowledge from within your eyes have finally found home for their loved one's soul. Their loved one's soul, as if it committed adultery or some godly offense by ejecting from something that it could not survive in. My message to every human being to ever span the earth, no matter how many miles or generations or historical records this world has seen. So throughout time, for all of you, feeling, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. You have been abandoned for your own knowing, for your own golden crest, shielding your own grieving in the natural way that it should have been. We take our lives when we cannot survive for a multiple purposes. There's multiple causes there's multiple, he's saying, examples, situations where our spirits, our souls, choose to survive. Therefore, we go. To be anonymous, what is the word? To be true and correct. As true and correct as we in spirit, in the light of God and love, as true as we can be, our spirits remain in body or out of body. And as freely as we come into these bodies, our bodies, we are freely able to leave them behind, as we will all leave them behind. For within the chest of every suicides, for a survivor of every suicidal person, within your chest, for you to know, maintain, and not let grow what is deceitful about it. Your hand, the one clenched upon your chest at the devaluing of your loved one having taken their life, due to what you're told of it. For all of you, free yourselves as your loved one freed themselves. Our dynamic is not one of encasing ourselves into something that we cannot break free of. It is not the way it's done. We in spirit when we come. Imagine if you had a safety net below you, for if you were to fall, it would catch you. Under the condition that once you were fallen onto that net, it would encase you and you could never leave. What would that mean for your fall? Would you even start your walk out on the rope? We in spirit, we celebrate those of you in body, those of you we knew when we were in our Christs, our bodies. The magnificence of being alive within bodies capsizes anything else that you experience in total. When we take that breath of life, that life-giving breath, the majority would say oxygen, the first breath of oxygen. That is not what it is to be alive. It is that life-giving breath. Through the Christ consciousness, through our consciousness, that provides us the living of our lives. I'm hearing a kid, Anthony. Come forward, Anthony. Hi, Ma, he says. It's Anthony, your son. I was 20. I'm seeing 22, but I'm hearing 21. I was young, Ma. And I was trying to have some fun. I know who you are. Ma, I was young. Wanting to have fun. I was encircled inside my head due to the drugs that he was on. The drugs, they frightened me. They whirled around within my mind and the telling me of the escaping, for me to escape. My spirit left my body, Mom, in the only way that I could help it to do. For there was just such a disconnect and fear and threatening of me. There wasn't anything else choice that I had to do for my survival. Ma, I love you. I know who you are. This boy, Anthony, it was about 2 years ago when I met his mother, and she asked for a reading. And, well, I had never known his source of death, and I kind of just figured he died in a car wreck or, And we became really close friends. Well, online friends. Anyway, and I was really supportive because I'd lost my daughter in 2015, so I was no stranger to the pain, and I knew what she was going through, and I knew what she needed. And I was there to help her with that. And then it was a year and a half later, I did a reading for her, and when he when he when he disclosed that he used drugs, and which is the cause of him shooting himself when he got out of the shower, she stopped talking to me, and I understand her pain. My son didn't do drugs. That's all she could say. He just didn't do drugs. He didn't. I don't know what the point of this is. The point is that, oh, he was just here. Why not? Okay, and because he's here, this is the most beautiful thing about Spirit. Anthony, will you please talk about the Christmas tree? Share with the families, everyone who has suffered the loss of someone they love due to suicide or the exiting by their own hand, if you will. Please talk about it. Andrea, the twinkling trees, the lights that twinkle in between the branches of the trees, on and before Christmas, on the Christmas trees, those lights that twinkle, they are we. And we glee. It is to our twinkling in our own eyes that you see the twinklings on the tree and think of we. He's saying, Ma, I love you, and I am every twinkle upon your tree, and every twinkle you see on any tree, and every tree. Think of me. Knowing in your soul that within the heart of me, you breathe. We breathe. He's saying that we live. We all live on. Thank you, Andrea. Do you guys remember when Spirit said that I do know somebody that took their life, but I'm not knowing of it. Were you the first, or was Brandon? Bob Barlow. His name's Bob Barlow. He was he didn't go to the high school where I went. And I don't think he's ever been over like with my brother to our house. But my brother knew him. And some close friends of mine from high school were close with him. He had a reputation. He was a popular guy. His name was Bob Barlow. Is that who you're talking about? The Spirit is saying, I am significantly saying yes. Because when I learned of Bob Barlow's death, he was cleaning a shotgun. Bob Barlow, had you graduated yet? He had just become a senior. Anyway, everybody's story was that when he was cleaning his shotgun, it went off. And I always thought unless you have your toe on the trigger, how are you doing that? Anyway, I'm not trying to hurt the Barlows. It's interesting to know, but I guess somewhere I knew that. now, Spirit saying, Andrea, your dad committed suicide, as did your brother. What they mean by that is they drank themselves to death. Do their own... Go ahead. Do their own savage understanding of their own packaging, of they were not equipped to realize that they could undergo and exist through the pain and sufferings delivered them in their lifetime. Were not aware that they could pursue, what is the word? Persevere through. And for it, they were dismissed of such a painful state of existence, as we are all allowed to do. We can leave these bodies anytime that we want. For the saving of our spirit, our life, as you in the body, in the shell, view it, that is not our life. Our life is outside the shell, and what we are when we're outside the shell. So the viewing of the shell is very beautiful. And it has its unique, what's the word? It has its own unique euphoria, substance, presence, gift, sight, taste, touch, smell. In the way that we can embrace it by touch. It is not all that we are. We do all leave our shell. The seashells that you find on the beach, or buy in the store, or find in some old carton, handfuls of shells. Shells are a carcass only. They are not. When you see the shells, there's nothing in them. Did they seek a larger home, a larger shell, or did they cease to exist? We attach so closely to the bodies that all of our spirits are in. For our closeness and reuniting and bonding and touching and knowing, smelling, experiencing fully a spirit through a human body is very beautiful. It's why we come here. But my dears, for all the mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters and daughters and sons and friends and co-workers, even mild acquaintances, for all of you. And we certainly love you. We continue to love you. And we continue to go on. Our souls are not tortured. They are not forsaken or forbidden. When we reach our goal's limits, we leave. It's just like that. And go ahead. And we tip our proverbial hat for the sorrow that it brings upon those still living, for their not understanding of it. celebrate, allow yourself to cry, to mourn our deaths as justified and beautiful and dignified as the death of any other. But be one step ahead of those mourning those that did not take their own lives. Be one step ahead in knowing that we don't die. We are not in purgatory. We do not go to hell. We left so we could survive. To live another day and be by your side. For me, guys, I hope that you trust that. I remember, and this is before I close, I don't know how long ago it was, God. 14 years ago. Anyways, I pick up my junior high student, my son first, and then I pick up my high school student, which is my daughter, and two of her friends. So my daughter gets in the front because she's a princess, and so my son and her two friends are in the back seat, and we're driving, and we haven't even hit the first stop sign from the high school towards home when she says, "Mom, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." She goes, last night they found so-and-so, Ryan, what, I don't remember his name, at the shortstop. It was a baseball diamond that we had by the high school across the street. She's talking about behind the bleachers. She said he hung himself. And I went, really? I go, did you know him? She goes, I didn't, but I know his name. She goes, I knew his name, but I never knew him. And then one of her friends from the back says, oh, man, now his soul is going to be in hell, like, for eternity. And I drove through the stop sign, and I pulled over the car, and I put it in neutral. I didn't make a big scene about it, but I went, and I didn't look at any of them. I turned off the car, and I went, look, guys, that's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is it possible that the spirit, the soul within the body is in so much pain that it cannot survive within it, so it has to make the choice to leave? Is that perhaps a possibility? And then I heard, after silence, yeah. Yeah. And I could feel the hearts lift of these people in my car. It is what it is. I mean, may my ego not lead here, guys. We would never have the ability to take our own lives if we couldn't. And we don't take our lives, we save our lives. Remember that. When they take their lives, they save their lives. They sacrificed the Christ early for their own longevity. It is a fact. We might all have to die to prove it. There's many out there. For everybody that's ever lost a parent, that's lost a child, you're not alone. Years and years and years of time before it's something you can even swallow. And I know that. This is to lighten the load for those that carry an extra weight due to suicide. Those spirits were wise enough to know when to go. Trust in their instincts and trust in their glow, because they didn't take their lives, they saved it. And they're with you. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out for this one. This was really emotional and beautiful. So beautiful. Bob's trying to say something. Is that Bob Boulderstone again? Yes. He says, Andrea, I took my life due to my unsafe keeping of my own mind's well-being. Again, like my sons, they weren't keeping their own mind's well-being when they used certain drugs. Thanks. That was a gift to me, I think. Anyways, love you guys. May this help you. May this help you. And I'm always here, guys. I'm always here. I know the pain. Antonio, go ahead. It's not Anthony. My name's Antonio. I was 14. And I took my life by hanging. And for my family being on their knees. He says, I am on my knees thanking you for the guiding as to what is true. You're welcome, honey. I hope this finds them. Alright, guys, that's on suicide. May it be spread and help, relieving just one person, one heart broken, for its fully healing. May this find you.